for the Cowboys.
He's an interesting guy, isn't it? They moved him over from linebacker to fullback so he could make the team.
And they say he has very good hands in addition to being tough. Irvin makes the catch from Aikman. Picked up about 8. Bobby Taylor with Michael Irvin, who stays down.
Here's Michael Irvin. He's going to run the slant. You see, he's going to come about 4 yards and just come to the inside. Bobby Taylor was a little slow getting a jump on that, and it was the second guy in that got Michael Irvin.
Somebody flashed by, hit him in the back, maybe in the helmet with a knee. I think it was Houck.
Yeah, you know, we talk about hitters. The Eagles have one in this Tim Houck. He's number 45, and it looks like him. He's going to come flying by. You see, Irvin sees him, and Houck comes and just lowers it on him right there.
It looked like some helmet to helmet.
It looked like he was trying to use his helmet, but I think Michael Irvin was lucky in that he saw him, because, you know, after he got by Bobby Taylor, he catches that ball. Now watch, Michael Irvin sees that coming. Tim Houck does lead with his helmet on there. He tries to go helmet to helmet, but Michael Irvin gets his head down, and it wasn't helmet to helmet.
His head got twisted underneath against the artificial turf. And it's hard here at Veterans Stadium right now. For another update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Pat and John, this is not a replay, but take a look at this. Kurt Warner going to Isaac Bruce, who beats Darnell Walker again, this time on the fade pattern. Second touchdown reception for Bruce. Boy, the Rams taking out their frustration on the Niners. 14-0. Back to Pat and John.
Watch Michael Irvin as he is in the grasp of Bobby Taylor, his shoulder and his head.
Yeah, it's just his right shoulder and his head right into the turf. And again, that was a result of his ducking from Tim Houck.
Yeah. And Irvin's still down. Caldwell of the Eagles over on the bench.
You see how Michael Irvin there was trying to shake his head initially. I think I think the injury was caused from the head hitting the turf. I mean, there's a lot of bad things about artificial turf, and the hardness of it is one of them. I mean, you know, you can get hit and then get hurt when you get hit, or you can also get it again when you hit the turf, because this is just carpet over cement is all this is.
And this at Veterans Stadium is very hard.
Hey, Howie, switch seats with me.
No way.
Come on, I've got the scoop on the Vikings-Lions game. I should be in the middle today.
Why don't you guys...
Vikings take on the double.
Very.
Michael Irvin still down, and they're still looking at Michael.
You know, this is one of these things that, you know, they take all the precautions that they can. I mean, and then every stadium has a way to get a player off the field. They're bringing a gurney out right now. They're not going to move him. They're not going to let him move. Players are all doing the one thing that they can, just, you know, pray that everything is all right, that Michael Irvin is all right here.
Did you see the pictures of Dallas Stars Mike Modano when he was hit and went into the board? The Eagle players are talking to their fans and asking them to be quiet.
Yeah, we just saw a picture there of Emmitt Smith. Yeah. Emmitt Smith was down there with Michael Irvin the whole time, and when they brought this gurney in, Emmitt Smith left for the first time. This is one of those things that that every player feels, and every coach and everyone involved feels for the player that's down.
And as you said, they take no chances when an injury looks like this. They take no chances really of any injury, but particularly when it involves the neck, head.
And they do a great job.
Yes,
I mean,
they do.
At one time, they didn't, and then this became a very important part. And there's X-ray facilities at every stadium. There's an ambulance at every stadium. They have ways to transport the players off the field.
You could see as he went down, he was trying to get his mouthpiece out of his mouth.
Well, and it was one of those things on that slant. He knew that he had Bobby Taylor beaten. So the next guy coming in was the strong safety, Tim Hawk, and he saw him coming, and Hawk was zeroing in on him. So he went to avoid that block, that tackle. In doing so, went right into the turf.
Really is not much you can do except hope and be quiet.
Series tonight.
Michael Irvin being strapped on to the gurney stretcher. Very solemn moment. We can hope.
Yeah, and the way the players are taught now when this happens is to stay away from the injured player and just let the medical people do the job that they have to do, and the job that they do so well.
Avoid as much movement as they possibly can. Right now, again, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, Tony Graziani, backing up. Chandler comes in and tosses this nice TD pass to Terrence Mathis, 22 yards. That made it 7-0 Falcons. Doug Bryant has drawn the Saints within 4. It's now 7-3. And Pat and John, certainly our prayers are with Michael Irvin. Back to you guys.
JB, you join many.
Probably his closest friend on the team right there is Emmitt Smith. And remember when Emmitt Smith first came into the league, Michael Irvin, and it took him under his wing and taught him what professional football was all about. I remember the first meeting that we ever had with Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
He didn't come in by himself.
Came in with
Michael Irvin.
And Michael did all the talking. In the event that you might have just joined us, here's the play again.
It's Michael Irvin. He comes in a slant, catches the ball. Bobby Taylor goes to tackle him there. He sees Tim Hawk coming from the other side, and then he goes to avoid that. Tim Hawk had him zeroed in. And you can see right there, he looks up and he sees it, and then he has to get down, and in doing so, looks like he just drove his head and right shoulder and into the artificial turf.
Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, who's come to the sideline.
This is such a difficult thing for everyone involved, because you want to do whatever you can do. And there's nothing that you can do. I mean, the best thing you can do is stay away and let the workers do their work and then say a prayer.
Well, that's what Jerry's doing, staying away.
Yeah. Now, Pat, it looks like they're backing the ambulance out because they didn't. They're starting to move him now.
Yeah.
And then they backed the ambulance out of the under area.
You know, it didn't look like a collision that was that violent. I mean, I think we've seen a lot more vicious appearing hits than that.
Yeah, it was a pretty violent hit with the turf is what it was. He was avoiding what would have been a violent hit with Tim Houck. And in doing so, I think he had a pretty violent collision with the turf.
Jerry Jones and his son Stephen over by the ambulance now.
You know, and knowing Jerry Jones, I'll bet you he gets in the ambulance and goes with him.
There was a big, long article in the Philadelphia paper this morning about what a job Jerry had done to keep the three stars of the Cowboys together. From the information from Rich Dalrymple of the Cowboys, Michael Irvin's eyes are open. He is alert and moving. Although it may not appear to be, is certainly very encouraging. There's Rich and the rest of the contingent by the back of the ambulance. But just continuing. The paper, the article this morning was talking about what a remarkable job that Jerry had done of keeping the three together. And now to watch one of the three, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin. His helmet is still on his head, but they have removed the face mask from the helmet.